Welcome back to Captain's Draft 3.0. We're continuing on today with more of the upper bracket or lower bracket. I actually don't know. JJ, save me. This is lower bracket. Oh my good gracious. This is elimination, baby.
Yeah,
this is good stuff.
I'm ready to go. I mean, I haven't seen Tornado.RoX play yet, but I think I've seen pretty much every other team in the Captain's Draft play because I covered the series the other day, so I'm good to go. Let's do it.
I'm pumped up, man. I've been casting a little bit of the Captain's Draft. I've watched most of it, and it's been pretty fun so far. But I saw that thread on Reddit talking about how this one feels a little different. I feel like that's partially because the game is just so diverse right now. There aren't that many heroes that are just completely, oh my god, is he ever going to get picked? I guess Arc Warden is one of the few exceptions that people really want to see. But he's in this pool. Is there any chance he gets through here, Draskell? Oh god.
I actually don't know. I mean, I think the hero has potential, but a lot of the times, pub play is pretty indicative of what the pro teams actually pick, because a hero that has high success in pubs usually means that the hero is strong. And Arc Warden, while a very high skill ceiling, I don't really think there's too many players out there who can really bring it to fruition in competitive play right now. Maybe sometime down the line, maybe if there's like a Captain's Draft 4.0 or something, we could be seeing some Arc Warden play. But
so far, I think he's been banned in every game that he's been in the draft.
I was going to say, he's been banned before, 100%. But
I wonder if somebody's got to pick him if he makes it through here. It's getting kind of close. This is kind of an interesting pool.
Yeah, I think the AM ban is pretty much just because there's not really a whole lot of reliable lockdown for the AM during like the mid-late game. It's just something that's really annoying to have to deal with. So some teams have very different ideas of how they want to play in a smaller hero pool. Some people like to go for like the super aggressive early game. We saw Team Stake do something like that in one of their games yesterday. And some teams just want to ban out the heroes that they find the most annoying, because in a smaller hero pool, depending on what kind of split you get, like obviously it's always like the same amount of strength, agi, and int, but it doesn't necessarily mean that those heroes are like the same in terms of when they come online, what they offer. So in this case, looks like Stark just doesn't want to deal with any of the push, any of the late game nuisance, and we will end up seeing the Arc Warden ban out. Yeah, Stark just gonna open with AA.
All right, nice safe support. The supports in this pool are maybe a little bit limited. I think Visage will probably see a little bit of love here. There is the Wraith King. We've seen him highly prioritized, kind of because of his diversity, but we've seen him more as a core role, and he's one of those heroes that, without the proper tools to deal with him, can be kind of tricky. Razor as well, just kind of a catch-all laner that seems to be pretty effective in this mode.
Yeah, interestingly enough, the only team who really gravitates that heavily towards Razor anymore has been Liquid, obviously, but I think in this pool, let's see, who else could actually lane against him? Not really that much. Just glancing, like Shadow Fiend is obviously a hero that you could put mid against him. Warlock we saw the other day, it was pretty okay. Leshrac, I guess. Dragon Knight is really bad against it. So there's actually not really too many things in the pool that deal with Razor, and it's also a solid mech carrier for the middle lane. But as it stands right now, Stark just going for the a little bit of a wombo combo here. It's not super greedy. Like AA can be an aggressive laner, he can just be in a dual lane, he can soak up farm during mid game, that's fine. It's also very good for deep push. I was kind of curious as to why they wanted to pick it. I think it's more of a deterrent for making Tornado.RoX decide that they want to go aggressive, or also gives Stark the opportunity to go aggro themselves if they find an opportunity.
Yeah, it's a nice flex pick here. They can always put it in the off lane if need be, or just have like the 4 Sand King that can roam around and then sit in the jungle. So a lot of options for sure. Both teams really prioritizing the supports though. It's kind of interesting to see all 4 supports up at first, and then of course the Wraith King from Stark. This is looking to be some pretty scary mid-game team fight here that they've got going on.
Yeah, it's a good point that you brought up in terms of prioritizing supports, because if you look at the carries that are left, not really too many of them have a really huge laning presence by any stretch. So you can see it here, even like Tornado.RoX with their 3rd and 4th pick. They take the Lich just to make sure. So when you're in a smaller hero pool, yeah, it's probably going to be carry Venge mid-alch is my assumption. But in these types of pools, getting supports early to be able to control the beginning of the game is very, very important. It's easy to snowball if you get outlaned really hard and the enemy just kind of like walks all over you during the first like 15-20 minutes. We've seen how devastating that can actually be in this patch. So both teams just wanting to make sure that doesn't happen. As far as Tornado.RoX goes though, I mean, they have an okay amount of lockdown, I suppose, but I feel like they're going to be lacking some serious damage during the late game. I feel this is the kind of lineup that's a little bit on the clock. And Alchemist against AA, like directly, when I have a feeling this Tornado.RoX Alchemist is going to be in a core role, I kind of feel like this is a slight outdraft in favor of Stark, but not to a degree where I would say it's like game deciding or anything.
Part of the issue is that I think Tornado will be on the timer, but Stark have pretty good team fight. I mean, you look at that lineup, 20 minutes, I wouldn't really want a 5-man against that. Once they're all starting to come online, maybe Wraith King's level 11, sort of cool down on the ultimate. They've got a lot of burst damage. This is definitely a pipe game for Tornado.RoX. I think that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to buy it, though. I don't think Tree wants to buy it because I think he wants to be the guy who goes Arcane or Aghanims. Venge is probably going to be a core. Alchemist is probably going to be a core.
I feel like Alk will have to be the one to buy it, but that is they need the carry power. They need him going damage and survivability, like big survivability that has some damage to like a heart or an AC or something.
Yeah,
it's
I think
going to
they
be tough
should
for
go
him
like
to
bounty
live.
here or something. Like it's a hero that can help him secure the early game, punish the greed of the Sand King, assuming the hero's not off lane. Okay, never mind. They're just going to go Visage instead. So this is a lot of physical damage. It's some good lockdown as well with the birds. Something that can also scout out the Sand King for the team fight ultis. So it's not too bad.
So who's the third farmer here? It's obviously Alk and Venge. Is it Visage that's going to get the bulk of that farm and I guess the offlane? Are they going to do a 2-1-2?
I think in these types of laning situations for Tornado.RoX, it's going to be like Alchemist and Venge are just going to be like obviously Corsadoy is probably going to be safe lane, or you know what, they could go aggressive with these heroes, and then they could just have like a 1 versus 1. Maybe put like the. I
mean, Visage could go mid. They could safe lane the Alk and then do an aggro try. That's something.
Yo, this ain't no Lil Visage, okay? I'm just saying. That's the only guy I've ever seen who just goes mid Visage and destroys with it. But
is it really just like Lil's skill cap that makes that viable, or I thought mid Visage was sort of a thing if you're a good player.
It's not that hard to play. It's actually pretty easy. Like the only thing that signifies it's Lil Visage is that he typically goes like double points in a Grave Chill during the beginning of the game, just for like the laning presence and whatnot. But it can be done. I just kind of figured that in this type of matchup, it's probably going to be a 2-1-2 more likely, and then they can just have the Lich if they want go to the off lane, and then choke point jungle on Tree if they want to be mega greedy, because he did start with a Ring of Protection, but he didn't go the full like God Black Iron Talon yet, so we'll see. We'll see what he wants to do. Yeah,
the Iron Talon trend is really sick though. That Gold Black style, it's just nasty, man. He can farm so effectively, especially if he gets involved in a couple of kills early on. It's not that hard to snipe last hits on heroes or creeps with that absurd base damage he's got. It's kind of insane how fast he can farm.
Yeah, and tree armor helps him sustain. You can keep the towers alive for quite a while.
Yeah.
I do think Stark's lineup is a little bit better though. I feel like Tornado.RoX, they're relying pretty heavily on their laning phase. Like you have Lich, you have tree armor. That should be enough to kind of get you by for the first 10-15 minutes, but if, like, I don't know what they have on their team that's going to be able to punish Sand King. Like, how are they going to deal with that hero? If he has a hard lane, he can just go jungle farm. He can just start in jungle if he wants to, which it seems like might be the case, depending on whether or not Stark decide if they want to go aggressive, which we thought they might just based on the AA pick.
Well, that's one of the things I like about this Stark draft is I think they can get active early on and put a lot of pressure on, take mid-game team fights, but if they want to sit back and go farm, they can take this late somewhat comfortably. Wraith King scales pretty well, Ancient Apparition will end up scaling well, of course the Sand King can do a lot with early farm in the jungle, so it just feels like to me Stark have a solution for pretty much every stage of the game, and RoX have these kind of peaks where they really need to strike, but it'll take a lot more coordination. I guess I'm saying Stark have the ease of execution advantage, perhaps.
Yeah, they do. They have a very clear objective, and their late game is also, I feel, a little bit better. Unless this Alchemist just goes like completely ham and destroys the early game.
Yeah.
Because Venge is like a heavy stat core, she is fairly durable during the mid game, so you also can't forget about that. We'll see what Sadoy is able to do.
Although looking at the mid, Lena's not the easiest matchup for Alk. She's got that long range and can kind of sit around Acid Spray, at least better than a lot of heroes. Bottom, Sadoy might go down, but they turn it on to Boogie. Sadoy just barely lives. They draw the first blood on Yol, so 1 for 1, and that's where it'll settle down as Stark start to retreat. Well played by RoX, the Visage, getting that bonus gold.
Yeah, but
top
lane, look at this.
And it's not going to get a kill. That's speedy Lich, dude. Boots first. He's too fast.
Yeah, but this is the problem, though. Is like even if you're denying like every single wave, you're not stopping the Sand King from farming. This is a huge problem for Tornado.RoX. Because of the fact that they picked Visage last, they basically force themselves into a situation where they want to tri lane. Because Visage is very strong in situations where there's going to be a lot of damage exchange because you can just spam Soul Assumption, right? So with that being said, it's an okay choice to go for like the try versus try. You have a range farming hero. You have Leech Seed.
Top, Trixie connects with the stun on the Ghost Stick. A few more auto attacks. Oh, it's the Lich that wins the duel.
Alright, disaster.
That is definitely a disaster. Now down bottom, Yol connected on with a stun. It's a full-out battle. Yol's going to be the first victim here, but Boogie falls shortly after. Another 1 for 1. It's Stark on the defensive, but Sadoy has a stun in 3. And they won't pursue. They'll just back on up. Man.
Okay, they need to switch their lanes now. This isn't gonna work anymore. What they're doing bottom lane has already failed. Like, you can't fight into tree venge. The stats between the two heroes are very, very high. I think it's better to just put Sand King in the off lane now, or have him stack the jungle and just let the supports do whatever. Like, it's a tree and a Visage. It's not like those heroes have insane roam or anything. I don't think it's a good idea for Stark to stay bottom, especially considering that his traded support for carry. That's never, ever worth.
And on top of that, Boogie is actually not farming. He's got one last hit, 0 denies on this Wraith King. It's not good. The Lesh is sort of picking up some farm now, but he only has 4 last hits. They're coreless in this bottom lane. It's kind of rough.
As soon as he died that second time, I was like, they need to just change lanes now. Like, being down here, yeah, okay, you can pull the camp or whatever, which is what they're doing now. It's okay, but I don't think that you're ever going to put your Wraith King in a good enough position where you feel happy being down here anymore, because you've already lost 2 trades in a row. Like, you gave away first blood and your Wraith King died as well. So that's just, yeah, I think this lane has already failed.
And looking at mid, it's kind of a wash. Pretty even. Lina with a very slight farming edge, but both sides getting what they want. And sure, in the safe lane, Sand King is doing pretty well. He was pretty aggressive that death. Now has kind of leveled it out for Lich. Level 4 Sand King boots up. Oh, mid, big dive. Okay.
Yeah, BZZ just solo kills Alina. Okay, this is actually like
that turns things very bad for Stark. That was their one lane that was kind of okay.
Yeah, they really, really misplayed in their 2 solo lanes. Like, in these types of scenarios, when the enemy team pretty much has Snowball, and that's it, as we're also probably going to see Boogie die again.
Big stun on Boogie, huge follow-up damage from the Soul Assumption. They do everything they can, but they just don't have the defensive support to keep him alive. Now Balix tries to stand his ground, but it's another disaster. The Soul Assumptions are doing so much damage, only level 1, but still enough to do so much in these quick skirmishes.
They're fighting into the strength of Tornado.RoX, which is a mistake. Like, if you pick a hero like AA to maybe make the enemy team not want to go aggressive tri-lane on you, then that's fine, because the AA can still play relatively greedy, Sand King can farm in the jungle, or even go to the off lane, try to soak what he can. The roaming combination that Tornado.RoX has is not good. I don't know why they keep playing into the strengths of the heroes instead of just splitting up and making it so the tree and the Visage just have to, like, live off of pulls instead of continually sacrificing the Wraith King. It looks like finally they've transitioned the Wraith King towards top lane, but I don't really think it's going to do that much now. I think it's, like, way too late.
And it's still tough for him. He's only level 2. Lich is level 6. So even if Sand King moves into the jungle, Wraith King still can't really lane here. And I don't know. This is really tough. Looking at the graph, it's a 3,000 net worth lead, 2,000 experience already for Tornado.RoX. And we're only 5 minutes into this first game.
Yeah, this is exactly what Tornado.RoX wanted to happen. They wanted to have a tri-lane versus tri-lane situation because Visage is just so unbelievably strong. And between the 2 heroes out of the 3 in Tornado.RoX tri-lane that are in the front line are the 2 tankier ones. So Venge has to be close, but you can Soul Assumption from far away. So the squishiest hero that you want to go on is typically Visage, but he's never within arm's reach. And they have Leech Seed to counteract some of the damage that you're going to be dealing on top of that.
Yeah. Oh, stun down bottom. Ancient Apparition. Die here. Eats the Fairy Fire. It'll keep him alive. Now stun rotation from Trixie. Connects on Snowy, but living armor. That'll keep him safe for now. Sandstorm to try to knock off a few charges, but it won't work. And Snowy will live. TP reaction out of Stark. It's a little something. Top rune, a little skirmish perhaps. Nope, Volix will just be on the defensive. Now back down bottom. Trixie taking a lot of damage from Snowy. Had a wave of terror, but only level 1 and certainly would not have been enough for the kill.
Well, Trixie's going to have to come in big during the mid game. Granted, he did have a solo death during the laning phase, which is, I mean, to a Lich, that's like the worst thing ever that can happen to you. Yeah. Especially as Sand King, he didn't come to lane with detection or anything like that.
I mean, the way he was positioned in the lane when he died, he was like, oh, down bottom? Oh, man. Battle for the rune, not going to go his way.
Well, he did actually, he did get the rune, so he won that battle. He just traded his life for it.
Very true. But yeah, I think Trixie just got too cocky at top. He died, like, he was just farming behind the tower trying to cut the creep wave. I don't know if you really need to be that aggressive against the solo safe lane Lich.
He might have felt a little bit pressured to do a lot in his lane because he knew that his tri-lane was probably struggling at a very early point. Yeah. So I think when you have that, like, solo lane pressure and you're like, oh man, I gotta, like, really overplay this game and make some big things happen, you can get yourself into a situation where you bite off a little bit more than you can chew, and I think that's kind of what happened to Trixie there. But
so what do you think about Epicenter leveling here? He's level 6, skipped it for now. We see this somewhat commonly, but what is generally the ideal level to grab Epicenter? Is this turning into the standard build, 3-2-1?
It's not about level, it's about when you have Blink. Like
I
the,
see.
the
Okay.
typical thought process is you're not going to be able to use Epicenter until you have Blink because the Burrow Strike range is not good enough to close the gap, and he has
Right.
no other hero really that's going to be able to Blink Initiate for him, so he has no other way of getting in. With that being said, sometimes you see Sand King players opt to max a Sandstorm instead. This is a little bit more fighting oriented bottom lane as well.
Yeah, here we go. Grave Chill onto the Ancient Apparition. Stun connects onto Sadoy. Now Trixie's going to be left all by his lonesome, and yeah, they'll just let him walk away.
Yeah. But you can see the difference in how scary Tornado.RoX's team feels when the tri lane isn't together. Like it's a lot harder for Yol and the Street to do anything when they don't have a reliable stun with them. That's the whole point of the lane, which is again why I was kind of curious as to why Stark decided that they wanted to play into that. And here's the swap.
Here we go. Ancient Apparition swapped, stunned, and brought down. Easy kill here for the Radiant.
Yeah, the team combo is real bad.
I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head playing into the Tornado.RoX strengths. This is what Benj wants to do early on. She's not the kind of safe lane farmer that wants to just be passive and sit back and farm forever. She wants to fight if possible while she's farming, and they played right into their hand. Now up top, Valix, he misses the stun on the Ghost Stick. He's got a Chain Frost. He's going to take a bounce into some Ogres. Or their Centaurs actually could go back.
Oh my
It goes to
God.
Boogie. Oh, God. That is not what they were hoping for. This Lich, and he is just smiling all the way to the bank. Gets a stun on the Bollocks. Ends up getting taken down. It's a 3-on-1, a big rotation, and he still trades 1-for-1 on the carry of Stark. It is a Lich's dream come true, Draskell.
Let's be honest though, this Boogie Wraith King is not a carry anymore, dude. He's level 4.
That's fair enough.
He's got 17 CS. Like, this is the absolute worst start that you could have had if you're Stark. BZZ sitting on 2600 gold right now, just doing his own thing. It's like, whatever, I can just farm the jungle. I have no pressure on me whatsoever.
He's got the recipe? Oh my.
Yeah, he even solo killed Alina. Yeah, he's got his Radiance recipe, so he's very, very
close.
close.
Yeah, and he's got some stacks to work with here. This is getting out of hand.
I'm not really sure what the game plan is anymore when your early game goes this badly. And we saw yesterday a Sand King who had a delayed Blink Dagger, and it just completely crippled his lineup because they were so reliant on him at that point in the game because of the same reason that we're seeing here. Is the laning phase just did not go favorably
Well, here
for
you
them.
go. He picks up an Iron Talon to try to make up some of the lost footing here.
I don't even know if that's worth it, to be honest.
I'm not so sure either.
I suppose if he had the
gold.
Quelling Blade from earlier, it's fine, because I think he had it in lane
He did.
against the Lich to help pull and whatnot. So if that's the case, then I think it's a little bit better. But
Okay.
this is still not even close to ideal for Stark.
Yeah. I mean, we're only 10 minutes in, so you look at the Sand King's farm, and in a vacuum, it's not that bad. But remember, this aggro try was a disaster, and for the safe lane Sand King, you're hoping he gets to a little bit more than that. And for Nymphy, dying mid, he's pretty far behind as well. You kind of hope Lena's closing in on the Yules at this point, and she's still a little bit off. Ice Blast mid, whiffs on the Alchemist, just clips him.
Yeah, I think that we've transitioned a little bit away from the mass stacking meta. Like, obviously, the patch changes made it so not only is it a little bit more difficult to stack in some places, but some of the creep camps just have increased magic resistance, which makes heroes like Lina, Shadow Fiend, and whatnot just a little bit worse. And on top of that, Nymphy didn't have anyone in the jungle stacking for him. And even if there was stacks, the Sand King might be prioritized to take it just because they might think that Blink is more important for him right now than Nymphy getting anything, really.
Smoke
There's smoke
rotation. Yeah. Boogie and Volix are going to come around the backside. They should be able to get a kill on the Lich, but that pesky bugger, he's got a Chain Frost ready. If they're not careful, he can do some big damage here. Chain Frost gets interrupted with a stun from Boogie. Ice Blast will come in. Ghost Stick gets the living armor. Chain Frost bounces into the creep wave. How unfortunate. Goes back to Valix. Doesn't get lucky this go around. And the 3-on-1 smoke rotation will yield a kill. No casualties on the side of Stark. Just the Lich, but still nice.
Yeah, they're making their way back in one by one. You know, it's not like one huge decisive team fight, but they're dealing damage, and that's what they need to do.
And it slows down the mech a little bit, which also helps.
Yeah, they can't allow Tornado.RoX just to have their way with... They won all 3 lanes, right? Like, pretty decisively, I might add, especially bottom lane. Getting a solo kill in mid and top as well. Like, they had the dream start. And even giving away the Lich a few times, it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's something that gives Stark a little bit of breathing room because they know that BZZ doesn't want to fight right now. He wants to try to get to his core items, so now it's like a race.
Yeah.
Can BZZ's item progression stay ahead of the teamfight potential of Stark?
Well, so far so good. Look at that net worth chart. 8.3k.
Yeah.
Let's see, what's his GPM? He's at 650 GPM, 12 minutes in. Oh yeah, there we go. Big dive. They get the first kill on bench. Trixie almost dies for it. He'll be alright for now. Goal. Micro through the trees. Boogie gets some vision. That'll be off the mark, but looks like they're going to catch the Visage, and this should be an easy kill. But Bird's on the back line. Oh, God. Trade 1 for 1, and the Lich dies, or pardon me, Lesh dies first. It's actually not the worst thing for Yol. He gives him a killing spree, so that's a little bit unfortunate, but getting that kill first makes that all the difference. Makes all the difference there.
Yeah, he got level 7 off that too, I think. Or maybe...
Oh, I'm not sure what he was.
Hard to say, actually. He's quite a bit into 7, so maybe I didn't give him that much, but... this is the stage in the game where Stark are making a decent comeback, though, because now they have OKC is level 8 now. He's got his Midas done, so he's kind of the guy you're looking to right now to be that hard counter to the Alchemist, and even with the amazing laning phase that Tornado.RoX has, this is the absolute best hero against Alchemists. Like, there is just nothing you can do if you get hit by the AA Blast. You are screwed. And they have so much lockdown at a hero that doesn't really normally want to buy BKB that it could be really dangerous for him.
Whoa, look at BZZ. He just charges up the high ground here. Ice Blast will be on the way. It'll connect, and well, they drop everything, but it's well worth it. And that'll slow down the Alchemist just a little. A much-needed kill.
I think he was trying to scout for stacks or something. Like, I'm having a hard time justifying why he would even run in that direction.
If you look at Radiant Vision, they are completely blind there, so...
Yeah, and they just got rewarded mid too, right?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, that was odd. I'm not sure why he decided to go that way. He is still massive, though. Like, that one death is not going to be enough to, like, completely stunt his farm by any means.
Yeah.
Again,
that's the thing.
A nice step.
He got away with the super green build. He went Brown Boots, Bottle, Radiance. I mean, that's like an Alchemist dream if you can get away with that without any pressure, and I think that's only his first death this game, so
yeah,
not too bad.
Oh, he's rushing Aghanims. Is he going to give it to the tree?
He might give it to the Visage.
The Visage is good too, but I think tree might be better in this game.
Yeah, I think you're right. A tree with an Eggs this early on is
insane. It's like
nuts.
When the supports don't really have the money to buy detection in the first place, it could be very, very hard for them to deal with.
It's rather peculiar, though. We'll see a setup here. Yule's completed on the Lina, but they don't follow up as they see a lot of reinforcements nearby for Tornado.RoX. But usually you'll see an Alchemist pick up at least one item after the Radiance, just so he's not super squishy after he feeds the Ags away, even though he'll have an okay net worth. It feels like he's so far ahead here he can get away with this, but you definitely don't see this too often.
Oh, the smoke. Okay.
Oh, it's broken by
I think.
Yeah.
Good stuff. It is a little bit unorthodox, but he could be under the mentality that if he wants to go for like that hard carry build, I think the only build he can go in this game if he doesn't want to have a BKB is the Octarine Manta build, right? That just delays the game for a very long time.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that anyway, I think giving it to Tree is a nice way of doing it because you also gave your team the vision, and that also restricts map control away from Stark, which gathering up as 5 when you're playing against that constant tree split push in Radiance Alchemist is very, very difficult to do. Yeah. So if you don't want to fight into AA Blast and like Epicenter and stuff like that, it's a good choice.
Yeah, you're right. It makes sense if you look at it from that angle. I think also Visage will be able to farm a little bit better. He has Medallion, but he's much more likely to get a timely Ags than the Treant at this rate, since Arzeek's been a little more active. I mean, he did go the Iron Talon. He's getting some okay farm, has the Arcane Boots completed, but 4 assists already. He's definitely been getting involved in these skirmishes. Stark, looking like they want to fight. Blink Dagger up on the Sand King, also level 11, so Epicenter. Now a little more volatile. Lesh maxed out Edict. You know, we saw this yesterday, was it, or the day before? Lesh is putting priority in Edict.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Again here. It's for the same reasoning that it was the other day too. They don't have any other hero on a team that hits towers that well, so they need some pushing power, and it's also very good against tree armor when you're trying to break into a tier 1 or something like that.
There it is.
Normally,
Eggs on tree. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I figured this is what they were going to do. It just makes the most sense for what they want to accomplish. I don't think they ever want to be in a situation where they're fighting 5 versus 5. That's like the reverse dream for their heroes.
Yeah.
They just want to split the map up.
Yeah, I guess unless they get the Dream Overgrowth into Chain Frost, that's probably the only scenario where they really want to take a 5-man. Down bottom, we'll see the tier 1 take some pressure. Volix using that maxed out Edict. No glyph available, so this will be a pretty easy tower kill. Tornado.RoX rotating down into the lane. I'll see Arzeek, the mobile ward here, kind of scout things out with birds flying overhead. They may have a go on Boogie, only level 9, so that ultimate worth putting on cooldown. He has picked up a Blink Dagger, though, and will be able to get out of harm's way. Trixie follows suit as he blinks back, and will be able to make the retreat. Slowly but surely here, Draskell. More eyes in the jungle. Treant gets those leafy greens down.
All those tree haters out there are going to be real upset when they see this game.
Yeah.
Like, having the Aghanims so early is insane for him. The amount of
It's just
damage
a cool
you can deal
strat.
with an overgrowth is also really, really strong. I think a lot of people underestimate that. Like, sure, the lane pushing, the idle jungle farming and whatnot is great. Sand King gonna be dodging some bird stuns here.
Well played by Trixie. Kind of jukes him out with the Sandstorm. Now he just TP's home. Living life on the edge. I'm not sure why him and Boogie are so forward positioned here when it's pretty obvious.
He's making space, dude.
He is, but they weren't really using it. Everybody's just kind of huddled around the tower
OKC
ready to
is
fight.
halfway to Aghanims. That's a big item for them.
Who is? The Lina? Yeah.
No, OKC is the AA. He's halfway to Aghanims
Oh,
right now.
yeah, from the top lane.
And I mean,
actually, you're right. He's level 11 too.
Yeah, Nefi's got some decent farm as well, so they've kind of recovered just by having like Trixie run around the map, be a nuisance. I mean, he showed his blink, which is a little bit of a bummer, but at the same time, they had 4 heroes down there for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, just sitting there trying to see if they could go for a kill, and accomplish basically nothing. So if I'm Stark, I'm happy with that.
Insane how different the net worth chart looks when the Aghanims gets handed over now. Alchemist is not nearly as far ahead, though. Still number 1 on net worth. Rotation up to the top lane. This is GPM. Oh my god, 730 GPM. Here we go up top. Swap onto OKC. He will buy before he dies, so it doesn't really lose much here. A good idea from Prophet.
And that gank is like not the greatest for them, unless they can pressure the tower. I suppose they have Visage Birds up here, so.
Or Zeke down bottom with Boogie, eyeing him out for a potential overgrowth, but no support nearby. Meanwhile, Stark pressuring that tier 1 in the mid. Glyph's already been used, and again, it's a freebie. The Diabolic Edict definitely working out so far. A little bit of extra gold in the pocket of Team Stark as Wraith King blinks down bottom. Looks like they may just rotate into a tier 2 push now.
Yeah, it's a good situation for them. They haven't really had to rely on the AA blast too much. They got the 1 kill on the Alchemist, I think, with it, but that was about it. But for now, this is kind of what we expected. Tornado.RoX just don't have any interest in fighting the 5 versus 5. If they can get a small skirmish...
Here we go! Epi, Trixie goes in on the BZZ. Boogie follows up, but out. He survives. He gets back. Now Chain Frost bounces around, finishes off the Sand King first. Boogie goes down. Reincarnation will bring him back, but it's 5-on-1. Oh my. Kind of a disaster for Stark. Rather ambitious play there from Trixie, as well as a great reaction from RoX.
I think it's more the fact that the AA wasn't up in time for that. Like, they wanted to go in when the AA was alive, so he could throw the blast on top of the stun to ensure that the Alchemist died. But what ends up happening is, the Alchemist sees the epicenter before the Burrow Strike goes off, so BZZ gets his ultimate off, is at full health throughout the channel of the Epi because of how much he regens. And by the time the AA blast hits, the rest of the remaining damage is gone. So his regen was still going, the tree armor came out as well, as you saw. It just was very miscoordinated.
Yeah. Kind of peculiar, the way they timed it. It didn't really feel like Trixie had to go there. You know, it seemed like they were sort of lingering around, ready to defend. Be up top, stalking down Ghost Stick here. He's got the Lothar's Shadow Blade. Connects with a stun, but will just back off as he senses some rotations inbound. TP home, and he'll live. BOT's now up on BZZ. Looks like a little self-stun here. But he's already up to 3,500 gold, and there's just nothing slowing him down at this point.
Yeah, he also bought his bots after the Aghanims that he gave to the tree, so...
Yeah.
Wow, he's actually going BKB? Okay, this is really weird.
I mean, it's a way to deal with all of the lockdown. Yeah, if he gets caught with 1 stun, they can if he gets caught with a stun without his ult on, he's just completely dead. So this secures him at least some time to be involved in these fights with the Radiance. So it does seem odd he doesn't just go for the Octarine Manta so he can continue farming out of control and then just fight later after he's hit critical mass.
He's just scared. Like, that's the only reason.
Overgrowth, down bottom onto Nemphy. He'll Yule's out of it. Sadoy comes in, but Stark have a lot of reinforcements. Ice Blast from afar, connects on Sadoy, and that should be enough to secure the kill on the Vengeful Spirit. BKB, popped by BZZ, goes in onto Trixie. They'll move into Sandstorm. Dust is there. They'll have the damage to finish him off. Yol gets credit for that one. Now RZ comes in, Leech Seed onto Nemphy. Still on the retreat, and it looks like they won't be able to close the gap. 1-for-1, support for whatever Venge is at this stage of the game. Still a core, I suppose, but just shy of her BKB. She's really not quite in right-clicking shape. She'll get a big bump when she gets that BKB, though. Speaking of pumps here, Draskell, there it is, the Big Papa. Aghanim Scepter on the Ancient Apparition.
Yeah, his farm has actually gone, like, insane in the last 10 minutes. I think that's going to be really good for Stark. I also still, like, I understand why BZZ buys BKB in a situation, but I don't agree with it, actually. I think that there's almost any Alchemist item would have been better than BKB here.
Oh, Volix gets left behind. The Ice Blast does fly through. Connects on BZZ, but just doesn't matter. No follow-up. Boogie has to run. Ultimate's still on cooldown here. We'll see up top. Oh, man. Lina gets soloed by the Venge. Looks like Sedoy was able to swap in. I say soloed, but there were birds up here, so... Sedoy
Yeah,
plus
birds pretty much count as a hero.
Yep.
Those things hit super, super hard.
And it looks like a tower was assisting as well.
All things considered, it seems like Tornado.RoX still have the advantage here. I'm kind of curious as to what the Alchemist's next item choice is going to be. Because typically when you buy BKB, in this position you feel like you're going to be forced into fighting, even though you might not necessarily want to. So that's why he probably bought it. He just didn't feel confident in his ability to buy time, with just having the tree eyes in the forest everywhere, and then obviously using Radiance to split push. Because if you look at the way the trees are positioned, there's no like aggressive creep killing leaves that are going to cut waves or anything like that, right? Like that's when you start getting to territory where Stark have to buy a gem, have to buy quelling blades, or have their iron talons from earlier to be able to deward effectively and get their map control back. I suppose he just felt that pressured that he needed the magic immunity, because we saw him use BKB bottom. It literally didn't even matter. Like, you're stopping a handful of stuns, but if the coordination is there from Stark, they can blow him up. And sometimes a blink stun from a Sand King, you might not even get your BKB off anyway. So it's going to have to be somebody baiting for him more or less, or hope that he gets swapped.
Well, Tree's pretty much cleared out the Radiant jungle now. They've got vision in most of the key areas. I think it's almost time where he starts trying to get some trees up around the enemy Ancients and start moving into that jungle a little bit. Just for anything, a little bit of vision control so they can get some eyes in enemy territory. That's one thing Tornado.RoX have not done this game, is really win the vision game, at least not until the tree eggs came out. And even still, they're very defensively warded right now. They don't have a single ward down on the map. Neither team has a single ward down on the map right now. Interesting.
Yeah, it's a little bit odd, actually. Well, I suppose for...
tree eyes are there for Radiant, but still.
Yeah, Tornado.RoX probably don't care about wards anymore at this point.
Odd that the Dire don't... Is there a gem? Have they been getting dewarded? Yes, there is a gem for the Radiant on our Zeke, so maybe he's been doing some dewarding
he does have a gem. Okay.
While all that fighting was going about.
Gostic must have bought it a little bit earlier. I missed that, actually. So yeah, this is the stage where it starts to get a little bit scary for them. Like you mentioned, no vision for Stark. They want the 5-man, and not having vision for going 5-man Dota is really, really scary. Especially when you have to consider that even though the Alchemist didn't go the optimal farming build by any means, just having bots and Radiance alone is more than enough for him to kind of split you up all over the map. And then you could be walking into a trap, you don't know if you can actually push his 5. It's a little bit of a gray area. I think if they can recover the gem, that would probably be the best way to get themselves back into the game. And neither team is really that good at killing Roshan, at least not for a little while. I suppose Tornado.RoX probably kill it a little bit faster and safer because they have tree armor and Venge. So I don't know, man. This game is still pretty close, but I'm still kind of slightly favoring Tornado.RoX.
Yeah, me too. I really thought this Stark draft looked scarier on paper, but after the lanes at Tornado.RoX, I mean, just the net worth alone is still really intimidating. Alchemist is back up to 14k. Next highest is Lina at 8.6. That's just such a huge gap, and he's already given an Aghanims to somebody else. I mean, that just speaks to how much he's racked up in only 22 minutes. Yeah, the GPM 811 versus the 430 of Lina.
That's Alchemist, dude. I mean, no one touched him in middle lane. There was no rotations because it was tri-lane versus tri-lane, and then 1v1 in mid and top. So no rotations, he had jungle stacks, he killed the Lina 1v1. Like, that is the literal dream Alchemist start. Yeah. I thought after he gave the Aghanims to the tree, he would just go for the standard, like, Radiance into Manta Octarine split push, but he's up for a little bit of an earlier BKB. It worked out so far.
Time will tell here, Draskell. Rotation up top, Sedoy and the Birds, hero and a half, whatever you want to call him. A lady and a gargoyle. Looks like they're going to have another go on the Ancient Apparition. Swap right into the Birds. Ice Blast connects, but Sedoy, he's got a BKB. Get a quick pick on the Ancient Apparition, and now he's going to try to make it out of here. He should try to TP. It's still on cooldown. He's got it up. Not going to have enough time on the Magic Immunity, and Sedoy is going to get left behind here. He takes the tree and armor, but won't be enough to survive. Does a lot of damage to Boogie. If the Birds were there, I feel like that was almost a possible kill with Bird stuns.
Yeah, but it was on cooldown. Bird stun cooldown is 26 seconds. It's super long.
Oh, it's that long? Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Still not bad, though. 1-for-1. Venge. I like this Venge plus the Birds. It's pretty cool. It's really a lot of damage. Hard to deal with. BOT's now onto one of the familiars. Volix. Be out just in time.
Yeah, I think they just lost vision of him for a little bit. Didn't really feel like it was worth chasing at that point. I also, like, I knew you could, but it slipped my mind that you could actually teleport to the Visage Birds. So they're going like all in. He bought a Blink Dagger. Like this is very strange. They might feel like they need to win the game before the Wraith King gets too out of hand, because their team is not really the greatest at dealing with like 6-slotted Wraith King. But at the same time,
a really weird Alk build. Usually you see the Blink Dagger picked up either once you're kind of 5-slotted with big damage items, so you can initiate with a Basher and Abyssal, or right after you've picked up a Solar Crest so that you can do the minus armor and then hit him with an Unstable Concoction, you know, timed perfectly in a good spot. Here it's an interesting trajectory of items, to say the least. Now, is he going Moonshard, AC, or Mjolnir?
it's AC. It has to be AC.
Say that so definitively, Drask.
No, it's definitely AC, because here's why, right? If he wanted to go for Mjolnir, he would probably just buy the Maelstrom first, because it doesn't really... Okay.
Top,
Trixie.
okay. Showing off that Blink Dagger.
Yeah.
Plenty of stuns, and from full to zero, that's it. Good night, Sand King.
Yeah, but the thing is, Alchemist actually gets gold so fast that the only time you ever buy Casual Hyperstone is when you're building AC, because the Maelstrom is better for the inventory slot at that stage in the game, like where he is right now. The other reason is, if he wants to go for BKB Blink, the best synergy item with that to be that frontline hero that he's clearly looking to be is getting the AC because of the Wraith King and whatnot. And the physical damage output is going to be the scariest thing for him, considering he already has a 9-second BKB.
Yeah, there's the chainmail. You're right. I was thinking he was just going to go crazy and get a Moon Shard. I don't know. It was just, it seemed fitting. But even though they get that quick pick up top on Trixie, Stark with a good idea. They go right into the Roche pit and they get it uncontested. They'll fire an Ice Blast up top. Now Boogie initiated on, swap back, stunned onto the tower. He does have an ultimate here. Sidoi pops the BKB, as does BZZ. There's the reincarnation slow. Boogie blinks back. And that'll be it. It's just a reincarnation. Now, RoX on the back foot with their BKBs down. They'll mech up. They go back in. Arzeek with an overgrowth onto Nemphy. There's the Yule's Scepter. He'll have Lothar's up in 1 second. Boogie reinitiates now with a stun on Yol. Counter stun with the Unstable Concoction. Yol gets left behind. Ice Blast connects, and that'll finish him off through the living armor. He goes invis, but I don't think it's going to matter. Almost gets Nemphy. The Soul Assumption, just not enough damage. And Ancient Apparition will get credited with the end of that dominating streak. 500 gold going the way of old Frosty.
Yeah, it was a good kill, but very nice discipline by Tornado.RoX, realizing that taking the fight was just a bad idea. They had already committed their BKBs going for the dive when they get the reincarnation off the Wraith King, so fighting after that is just asking for trouble. I'm really actually pleased with the fact that they didn't go like all-in CIS Dota on that, because it would have backfired really, really badly, considering the Sand King had Blink and Epicenter available.
Yeah. BZZ doing a little split push in the bottom lane, forces out a glyph, and a reaction from Nemphy. Let's take a look here. F2 Radiant Vision. Yeah, they're starting to take over.
It's insane, man. It really, really is. Like, this combination is just gross. He had, what, like 14 minutes, I think, was the Aghanim's timing?
Maybe a little bit later, but it was around there. It was way before 20 minutes. It was close to 15. That's hard to deal with. 14? Okay. Pimp remembers. That's crazy. It's making me want to play some Treant Protector, man. Just queue up some pub games, pop on some music, get that Iron Talon, and go straight for the Aghanims.
Just channel your Goblak, sit there and choke point jungle while your team gets really mad at you.
You
I
know,
can see that happening.
Goldblack's a cool guy in real life. I want to be more like him. I think I'm going to try it later. I know what I'm doing for this snowstorm. You been keeping up with the weather, Andy? We're about to get 2 feet of snow this weekend.
Wait, in California?
No, in New Jersey, dude.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're from Jersey. I keep forgetting. Yeah,
you're back in Jersey. We're preparing for the snowstorm, dude. We got LAN cables. We went grocery shopping yesterday. It was a madhouse at the grocery store. They were sold out of milk.
You guys get the most insane weather.
The door up top. Blast, that'll connect and finish him off. But man, they drop a Laguna as well as an Epi to bring him down. The whole kit and caboodle. Now bottom lane, BZZ goes in, stun on a Bollocks. He pops the BKB under the tower. Flesh is dead, and Boogie, he's just getting kited around. His ult's down for another 10 seconds. They'll finish him off. The Blade Mail does nothing against the BKB, and what started as a good kill on the Venge quickly turns into a 1-for-2 around the map, with RoX getting the advantage. Pressure this tier 2 in the bottom lane, and they're going to rotate up top to start mounting a defense tier 1. They've already used the glyph. Living armor have come out, and it looks like it's just Lich, and he'll have to retreat. But tier 1 for tier 2, still not too shabby. Glyph still standing for Stark. They'll use it now, but they won't be able to TP back in time.
Yeah, this is not too bad of a trade for Tornado.RoX by any means. Like getting that Wraith King kill. Having that Blink Dagger BKB is actually working out very well for them. Their damage follow-up is pretty high. So whenever they go in, they get like an unstable concoction, they have Acid Spray on top of Venge minus armor and Visage Birds. Their single target, like physical DPS, is insane. And they also have a decent amount of protection through the Ice Armor, Living Armor, BKB on the Alchemist for the Wraith King. So they still have quite a while before I think the Wraith King starts to become super scary for them. He's also making his way towards his own AC, but the biggest difference in this game so far has been just the sole fact that Stark's lanes were so bad.
Yep.
Like, they lost every single lane. If this is a normal game, where Boogie just goes top, farms away, gets his core items at a decent timing, and the Sand King's just like off lane, doing his thing, I think they would have had a much better shot, but because of the fact that middle lane, Alchemist free farmed, got jungle stacks, solo killed a hero, gave the tree a 14-minute Aghanim's, like this game just got so hard because of that.
BZZ is up to 950 GPM. That usually I keep net worth open. I don't even care. I'm just looking at. He's at 24k net worth. He's more than doubling the Lina. Like this guy is a madman.
If you add the lower half of Stark's net worth together, it still is about the same as what BZZ has.
My God.
It's actually less. So yeah.
He's going straight into Abyssal too. He's got the Basher now, 1600 gold. Blink Abyssal to initiate. The BKB's actually been working out for him. The way he's been playing, like that last fight, he was able to dive under the tower, and there was actually nothing the Wraith King could do. He popped his Blade Mail and tried to stun him, and it just didn't do the trick. Wraith King's still not level 16, so Reincarnation is level 2, and that's a problem. Long-range swap, but Boogie blinks back in time. Now they go in on to Sedoy, but a nice Force Staff. He'll BKB, the Ice Blast will be off the mark. Now it's BZZ in the front. BKB on, hitting Nymphy. There's the Magic Missile, and they should be able to get the Lina Chain Frost. It'll go right on to Boogie, and he just drops. That's the Reincarnation. Where's the follow-up though? Volix finds a stun on BZZ, secures the blink back for Boogie. Nicely played there. And it will just be a Reincarnation and Lina, but all 5 of Tornado.RoX still alive.
Yeah, that was a gem though. That's a really bad thing.
Oh, that's the gem? Oh,
yeah,
geez.
no gem means all those trees that you can see on the minimap right now, they ain't getting dewarded anymore. That's There's just no way they can afford to spend that kind of money on sentries. It's just too much. And this is like the slow and painful. He got Octarine already, oh my God.
He's got an Octarine core. He's just ulting for fun now. It's a 52-second cooldown. Why not? Just push out the lanes. Farm it. Oh God, Arzeek. Don't get cocky now, buddy. He's all by himself. But, oh wait, they don't have any detection. They're doing everything they can. Throwing the book at him, but it's all gonna miss. Arzeek just TP's home with their gem. What a sad story.
Yeah.
It's his gem actually, but still. It's a sad story.
This game got super difficult right there.
Oh my.
Jeez, what do you even do now? Like, you lost your gem. You don't have any way of dewarding the trees.
You start thinking about game 2 and your strategy for drafting a captain's draft and how you lane it, because this is just at this point I really don't know how you stop this Alchemist. I mean, Ice Blast is their only real tool. Maybe if they catch the perfect combo they can kill him, but then you've got this Treant, this Lich. I mean, at this point everybody's pretty big. Uh-oh, fight breaking out. Arzeek, the one that gets caught. They drop the hammer on him. Laguna and the epicenter. Nymphy caught by a bash, dies to the BKB'd Alchemist. Now BZZ's rushing forward all by himself. Support for Tornado.RoX is on the way. Now BZZ just trying to buy time. He's got the ultimate on, and he's just tanking through it. Now the Visage comes in. Chain Frost takes a couple of bounces, but they go on to Boogie. Ultimate still on cooldown. He's dead. Okay, Sia tries to TP home. Birds overhead. They'll get the interrupt, and he's dead as well. 4 on the deck for Stark, rather. Only the Sand King survives, and it's just getting worse. This snowball keeps on rolling, Draskell.
Yeah, this is a perfect example of have really good team fight, lose all 3 lanes, so lose game before a team fight is actually that threatening. It's pretty sad, but that's pretty much how the game was lost. If they laned it differently or didn't like die repeatedly in their tri-lane, didn't get their solo lanes killed 1v1, like pretty much everything that can go wrong in the first 10 minutes of the game went wrong.
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. Tri-lane lost, Lina got solo killed to the Alk, and the Lich solo killed the Sand King. That's pretty much worst case scenario.
Dire's top barracks are under
and they even have to buy back on their AA. Like, there's not even going to be a punish for this. They just have to buy back for the sake of defending their base. They got tier 3 tower down as well, so they still got a little bit of base damage in on top of that. Tornado.RoX seem to be in a pretty indomitable position right now.
Yeah, and they're at this point where they can kind of take their time if they want to slowly just keep farming, start out the map, continue to take over. They can do it slow and steady. Or they could really just charge in and kind of bum rush the base at this point. They've got the Abyssal Blade on Alchemist. He's got plenty of gold for buyback. Could even upgrade those boots. All right, Draskell, question for you. I saw, oh my god, he broke 1,000 GPM? Yep, 1,015. There you go. I saw somebody in Twitch chat saying, idea, level 3 Boots of Travel gives you teleport Furion style. Uh-oh, Trixie caught in some trees. Birds flying overhead. Is this a kill on the Sand King? Ooh, blinks away just in time. He'll be able to live. So yeah, level 3 Boots gives you just teleport anywhere.
I'm just gonna say I'm glad that guy in chat doesn't like balance the game. That would be horrible.
For 10,000 gold.
Okay, for 10k, maybe. 10k is
the
a
only
lot
way
of money.
I
I mean,
could
at that
think to
point, you might
maybe
as well just
balance
buy
it.
another inventory slot, you know? Give me a 7th item slot. I'll be down with that.
That is very good point. I don't know, I thought it was kind of a funny idea, though. Long Roche respawn here.
They just double smoked.
Did they really?
Yeah, Stark just uses like 2 smokes at the same time.
Well, that's a bummer.
I mean, if it can't get any worse, right? Just waste one of your smokes for no
That's
reason.
true. I mean, this is the YOLO smoke here. Ancient or Assault Cross up on the Wraith King. So big item completed. They're ready to take a fight. If they win this fight, man, they could get Roche. So that's pretty huge. They're gonna walk in. They've got the low ground. Uh-oh, stun in from Trixie. In comes the Ice Blast. Might connect on a few, but they're all BKB. The Sand King goes down first. Doesn't even use his ult. Lesh dies as well. Now Nemphy goes from full to 0 in the blink of an eye, and that's it. GG's called. It's a complete team wipe. Everybody on Tornado.RoX pretty much topped off. That was just base roll. I mean, Alf ending the game 1,043 GPM. Very impressive game from BZZ. He wasn't pressured much, but still, he farmed like an absolute animal.
No, he played like a beast for sure. I kind of was skeptical with the BKB at first, but after I saw why he wanted it, it wasn't actually because he was worried about fighting, it's because he wanted to fight. And
Yeah.
I guess with the item progression that Stark had, it just simply wasn't enough. Even if you have really good teamfight potential, when your laning phase gets demolished as hard as theirs did, even if you have amazing 5-man, it can still backfire really hard if you have a really bad laning phase.